liberty, a light in the darkness to guide the stumbling feet of mankind toward the dawn of a new and greater civilization. 1777, the young colonies in America were at war with Mother England, and the spark of liberty that was set alight at Bunker Hill touched off a flame man 3,000 miles away in France, young Gilbert de Motier, who, strangely enough, was no victim of poverty and oppression, but a member of one of the noblest families of France.
Liberty, freedom, human rights. Someday the chains that have shackled and impoverished nations shall be broken. I have always said, gentlemen, that the man who fights for liberty fights for the right.
Well, Gilbert, you should go to America and fight with the colonists. My brother's the King of England. If he chooses to fight the colonists, that's his affair. But frankly, gentlemen, I can't help but admit that I admire their spirit. Cho, I promised a very charming young lady that I'd smoke one pipe and join her. Gentlemen, you'll pardon me?
Certainly, Your Grace. Your Grace? The Duke is right, Decop. I should be in America, fighting with the colonists. I shall sail at once and offer my sword and my fortune to the cause of liberty.
Not so fast, my friend. The king will never give his consent. Remember, you're still an officer in the Royal Guard.
King's consent or no, I've made up my mind. If need be, I shall disguise myself and flee France like a fugitive.
And strange as it seems, the man whose name was to ring down in history as the greatest friend of liberty was forced to flee France in disguise. And at an inn on the Channel coast, the course of history hung in the balance as the king's men pressed close on the fugitive's heels.
I am no feeler nor spy, I assure you. Merely a young man who has happened to have incurred the king's displeasure. I place my fate in your hands, dear lady. You may betray or save me as your conscience directs.
Mademoiselle, pardon me, but have you seen a young man disguised in the garments of a vagabond?
Certainly not. I was asleep until your blundering woke me up.
My humble thanks, mademoiselle. In saving this poor fugitive from the indignity of arrest, who knows, perhaps you have saved a nation.
After escaping his pursuers, young Gilbert lost no time in securing passage on the first ship to sail for America. And with every mile he put between himself and France, his impatience to get into the colonial rebellion grew. Landing at Charleston, he rode on horseback the 900 miles to Philadelphia to present himself to the Continental Congress.
Monsieur, I've come 3,000 miles to offer my sword and my fortune for the cause of liberty.
Your sword and your fortune, eh? Well, I'm sorry, my good young man, but the Congress cannot be disturbed.
But, monsieur, you do not realize...
My good man, if you want to join the army, there are plenty of recruiting officers in town.
Very well, monsieur. Good day.
Good day, sir.
Who was that?
Oh, some young foreign adventurer who wants to give his sword and his fortune to the cause of liberty. Calls himself the Marquis de Lafayette, or some such title.
And strange as it seems, Lafayette was turned away at the door of the Continental Congress, even though his coming was to mean salvation for the colonists. But Lafayette's devotion to an ideal would let nothing stand in his way. He sought out General Washington personally and was received with open arms.
These letters of credit will secure 5 million francs for the cause. More will follow.
The least rank we can bestow upon you for this service is that of Brigadier General.
Thank you, sire. I shall endeavor to discharge my duty well.
Though Lafayette poured his personal fortune and all the additional funds he could borrow into the cause, his greatest aid was felt in the dark days at Valley Forge.
My men are cold, hungry, and old wounds throb tonight. I fear that spring will find an army of dead men encamped at Valley Forge.
Take heart, sir. Courage is a warm blanket, even on a night like this. You need rest, sir. Let me make the rounds and encourage the men.
I only wish that our resources were as inexhaustible as your courage. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to thee in this dark hour with profound faith that thou wilt minister to us in this experience.
My brother, sir, he never saw a battle.
Valley Forge is no less a battle than Bunker Hill. It is here that the hearts of men are hammered and tempered until they're unconquerable.
Lafayette's courage conquered the forces of winter at Valley Forge, and the same courage carried him through a long, turbulent life devoted to the cause of human rights. With the conclusion of the American Revolution, the young Marquis returned to France, and for nearly 50 years, his sword flashed in the forefront of every campaign that carried him nearer his goal: liberty for all humanity.
Remember, my friends, liberty must not perish from the earth. It is the irony of life that my last battle should be a losing one. But when that battle is over, I want you all to remember that I am a Frenchman. I desire to be buried in my beloved France, but in soil brought over from Bunker Hill, good American earth, saturated with the blood of brave men who have died for liberty.
And so, the old warrior hung up his sword and furled his battle flags, bequeathing to the world its most priceless heritage, liberty. And in death, even as in life, he knitted the hearts of two nations together. Although buried in his beloved France, he lies enfolded in the soil of America, the blood-drenched earth of Bunker Hill. Strange, incredible, but true.